go to academy.
Where he goes to the academy?
Yeah.
So right now in our story,
No,
Wiley, Scout, who's half puppy, and Dana and Michael are on their way to the Wizard Academy. And they had to climb up this mountain on this island to get to the Wizard Academy. And on the way up, the first person they met was a troll by the name of Big Ed.
But I didn't want to die.
We're not starting from the beginning. I'm just giving you a recap. Do you remember how they found Big Ed?
Yeah.
Where was he?
Well, in the dark cave.
In the dark cave, that's right. And then, who was the next person, or the next creature they met at the campsite?
A wolf.
A little baby wolf
Called Maggie.
Maggie. And after the wolf joined them...
A little tiny cheetah.
No, first they met the griffin named Kiki. That was really angry, but they pulled the thorn out of Kiki's foot. And then Kiki had a much better attitude and said that she would help Wiley Scout, who's half puppy. And
I didn't want to be half puppy.
Scout's half puppy. Little Scout's half puppy.
Yeah.
That's what the story is. That's what he is. And
but I don't want to.
Dana and Michael and Big Ed and Maggie the wolf. And after the griffin joined them, they got even closer to the academy, but there was a wall there. And do you remember who was on the wall?
Yeah.
It was the imp. And what was his name?
Liam.
And he told him a riddle that was, I like it when it's dark outside because I glow. What am I?
I'm the moon.
The moon, that's right. And so the little imp let everybody go past the wall, but when the wall disappeared, he had no purpose. So little Wiley said, you can come with us. So Wiley Scout, who's half puppy, Dana, Michael, Big Ed the troll, the little wolf, baby wolf Maggie, the griffin Kiki, the imp Liam, all made their way to the Academy for Wizards. And when they got there, the first thing that happened was the drawbridge came down, and they crossed the drawbridge to get inside this giant castle with hundreds and hundreds of rooms and a giant mess hall where all the students would eat together. And when they came through, somebody said, hey, you guys, stop. And it was a little dwarf that was tiny. And the little tiny dwarf ran up to them and said, who are you guys? And little Wiley said, we're new students here. We got a letter in the mail that said we were accepted to the Academy for Wizards. And so the little dwarf said, oh, all right. Well, you need to go to the head chancellor's office so you could do your first initiation. And so all of them went over to the first initiation. And the chancellor, whose name was Terry, Terry the chancellor, he was in charge of the school. He was a great and powerful wizard. And he was 1,000 years old. He was really, really old. But he didn't look old. He looked like he was just a normal guy. But he was very tall. So Terry, the wizard, told the children, if you want to join this school, you will each have to complete one test. And so the kids all looked at each other and were like, what? We have to complete a test so we can join. And the wizard said, yes, you will each have to complete a test of my choosing. And so the kids all agreed and said, okay, we will do your test. The wizard said, who wishes to go first? The test will be one of bravery. And so Wiley looked up and she said, I'm brave. I'll go first. So the wizard was very impressed. He said, you just showed bravery by choosing to go first. Did you notice how none of the other children volunteered? And Wiley said, yeah, I guess I was pretty brave to decide to go first. And the wizard said, well, here's your test. There is a land far, far away where I built a castle that is dark and evil and filled with evil creatures. You must go there and open a treasure chest that has a secret inside, and you will bring that back to me. And Wiley said, how am I supposed to get there? And the wizard said, I don't know, you figure it out. And Wiley said, well, we just came all the way over here. That's a long, long way away to go to another castle. And the wizard said, that's part of the test. And just then the griffin, Kiki, said, Wiley, I have an idea. I'll fly you there. And so Wiley climbed on top of the griffin. And remember, the griffin has the body of a lion and the head of an eagle and the wings of a hawk. So little Wiley climbed on top of the griffin, Kiki. Scout, lay down. Climbed on top of the griffin, Kiki. Put her bow and arrow on her back. Grabbed her quiver and put all her arrows in it. And they flew off into the sky. And for 3 days, they flew. And the weather got really cold, and at night the griffin would get tired but would keep flying because she wanted to get Wiley to the dark, evil castle. And so after 3 days of just flying and flying and flying, they finally got to the castle that was evil. All the bricks were very dark. Lay down, it's okay. And all the bricks were really dark, and the sky was always night at the dark, evil castle. So Wiley got off of the griffin and told Kiki, she said, Kiki, you stay here. This is my test. And so Kiki went into the dark castle. She was so afraid because Terry the wizard had said there were evil monsters inside.
So evil cheetahs.
Evil creatures inside. So when she went inside the dark castle, she was afraid, and she had her bow and arrow, and she walked around. She didn't see anything. She couldn't see any monsters. The whole castle was very big and open, and there weren't very many rooms. There were just a couple very big rooms. And so she went room to room looking for the treasure chest. And in each room, she would go in and she would kick the door open and then jump in with her bow and arrow and look around for any of these evil creatures, but she couldn't find any. And she was really scared because she thought, well, if I can't find any of these creatures, then maybe they're hiding and waiting to pop out at me and scare me and try to eat me. So she was very careful, and she went into every room, and even though she was really, really scared, she kept moving forward until finally she came across a big door. It was double doors that were really big, and they looked really heavy. And she tried to open it, but it barely moved. And then she started pulling it, and it made a long creaky noise as it opened. And it went, and then she opened the other door, and it went. So she got both doors open. And then right there in the middle of the room was a spotlight on top of a treasure chest. And the rest of the room was pitch black, and she couldn't see anything. And so she looked, and she's like, that's a long way to go in complete darkness. And she thought, you know what? If there's evil creatures, this is where they would be hiding. They'd be hiding in all this darkness, just waiting for her to walk into it so they could attack her in the dark. And she said to herself, she said, if I can't see them and they attack me, I won't be able to shoot them with my bow and arrow. I won't have any way to protect myself if I go in there. So she thought about it for a second. And she knew that she had to get to that chest one way or the other so that she could open it and get the secret out of it and bring it back to Terry, the Chancellor Wizard. So she sat there and she stared at it. And she said, what could I possibly do to get in there with all this darkness where all these creatures might be hiding? And so she finally thought about it, and she said, you know what I'll do? I will run as fast as I can. I will run as fast as I can. And hopefully I can run faster than those evil creatures. And so she got ready. She got in her stance. She took a deep breath. And she ran across the darkness all the way to the chest, looking left and right. But she couldn't see anything because it was too dark. And then she got to the chest. And she was like, oh my God, that was close. And she opened the chest. And inside the chest, do you know what she found?
What?
Do you know what the secret was?
What?
Nothing. It was empty. The chest had nothing in it. It was completely empty. And she looked at it confused. She's like, why would he send me here to an empty treasure chest? This makes no sense. And then she thought about it for a second, and she realized it wasn't about what was inside the chest that mattered. It was that she faced her fears. She had run across all that darkness where all those evil creatures could have been because she was brave. That was the real test. to see if she could do it. And so she turned around and then walked back through the darkness out of the room. Because you know what? There were no evil creatures in that castle. Terry, the wizard, had told her that to see if she would be brave enough to go in, knowing that it might be dangerous. And Wiley was. Wiley went in and went in every room and found that treasure chest and opened that treasure chest and ran through the darkness and ran past what she thought was evil creatures. So she had passed her test. So when she got outside, Kiki the Griffin was still sitting there waiting for her outside of the dark castle. And she went up to Kiki and she said, "I'm ready to go home." And Kiki said, "What was in that chest? What was in the treasure chest, Wiley?" You know what Wiley told Kiki? Bravery. Bravery was in that chest. So she hopped on Kiki, and they flew back to the Academy for Wizards. And in there, she went back to the head told the wizard Terry, "I went to the dark castle, and I opened the chest." And Terry said, "You did you? So did you bring me back the secret?" And Wiley said, "Yeah. There was only bravery in that chest." And the Chancellor said, "Congratulations, Wiley. Welcome to the Wizard Academy." Scout, sit down, lay down. Do you want me to take this blanket off you?
I want to be.
And so the head chancellor said, "Which one of you children want to go next?" Do you know who said they would go?
No.
Take a guess.
Me. Doubt. Me.
Scout, the puppy, that boy that was half puppy, said, Scout said, "I'll go next." Ruff, 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 ruff. And Terry, the Chancellor, said, "Did you just bark at me, boy?" And Scout said, "No." Terry, the wizard, said, Terry said, "I'm pretty sure." Terry said, "I'm pretty sure you just barked at me." And little Scouty said, "No, I'm pretty sure I'd remember if I barked at you." And Terry said, "Okay." And then Scout said one more. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Terry, "Hey, Scout, come on. I got to tell the story, bud. Calm down. Are you ready? Tell me when you're ready. Are you ready?" So Terry said to Scout, "Your test will test how smart you are." So Scout said, "All right, well, I'm ready for this test. Tell me where to go." And so, Scout, come on, I can't finish your story if you don't let me.
I will stop.
Are you going to bark?
No. I'm really barking. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Do it. Whoop.
Scout, lay down.
Oh, my hair.
Scout, watch your hair. Scout, lay down.
Whoop.
Get in your spot. Come on.
Whoop. Yeah.
So the Chancellor told Scout, he said, in the back of the castle, there's a giant garden. And in this garden, there's a maze.
What?
And your challenge, your test, is going to be to complete that maze. But be warned, there will be several obstacles that you must get through in order to complete that maze. Scout said, "What kind of obstacles?" And the wizard said, "The kind that make you think." So Scout looked at him, somewhat confused, not sure what he was going to be up against. But he said, "All right, I'll do it." So Scout was getting ready to head to the back garden when the imp Liam said, "I have done many riddles in my lifetime. I have created very complex questions that people have a very difficult time answering. Maybe I can help you get through that maze." And Scout said, "You know what? I would like that. I would like you to help me." So Scout and the imp Liam, "Scout, sit, lay down. Come on." I need to turn off one of those lights. I'll be right back.
No.
All right, lay down. So Scout and Liam, Scout, lay down. Put your feet under the covers. Lay down straight. Legs under. Leave your feet on the bed. So Scout and Liam headed to the back of the castle where there was a giant garden. But in this garden, there were bushes, hedges that were about 20 feet tall in the sky. And they were very thick. You couldn't even see through them. And they saw the entrance to the maze. And Scout was worried. Scout thought to himself, this maze looks really complicated. But Liam said to him, "Don't worry. We will get through this together." So Liam and Scout entered the giant maze. And they walked, and they went left, and then they went right. And then there was a dead end. So they turned around, and they went back the other way. And then they went down another path, and they went left, and they went right, and they went left. And then there was a dead end. And then they came back, and they went the other way. And it took them all afternoon to get through the maze. And every time they found a dead end, Scout would get a little worried and go like, "We're never going to get out of here. We're halfway through it, and we keep getting lost at dead ends." And Liam, the imp, said to Scout, "Scout, one of the many things that I've learned in my lifetime is when you don't succeed, you try again. And if you don't succeed that time, you try again. And all you can do is try. And eventually, you'll be able to do what you want." And so Scout looked at Liam and said, "Okay, let's keep going." So they kept going through the maze, left and right and right and left and left and right and right and left. For hours they went through the maze. Until finally they got to a spot where they could see light coming through at the end of a long hallway. And Liam said, "That's the end of the maze." And Scout and him ran as fast as they could towards the light. And when they got there was a minotaur. A minotaur is half man, half horse. So he had the body of a man, or actually half man, half bull. So he had the body of a man, but the head of a bull. And the bull had a little ring in his nose, like a little piece of jewelry ring in his nose. And he breathed heavily, and steam came out of his nose. He was like, and steam came out, and the Minotaur looked at them, and he said, "Nobody finishes my maze without answering a riddle." And so Scout and Liam looked at each other, and they're like, "Nobody said anything about a riddle." The Minotaur said, "Yes, you must answer this riddle in order to get out of here." And so they said, "Okay." The riddle was, my face is round, and I have many numbers on it, but I only have 2 hands. And Liam said, "What?" And Scout said, "My face is round, and I have a lot of numbers, but I only have 2 hands." And Liam and Scout looked at each other, confused, and they weren't sure.
Maybe him talking about another animal. What had a round face, and 2 fingers, and a wetter other finger.
He was, and so he told the Minotaur that. He said, "Are you talking about another animal with 2 hands and a round face?" And the Minotaur said, "Yes! You solved my riddle." And the Minotaur was so angry because nobody had ever guessed that before. Usually what people would guess is clock, and they were wrong. It was a trick question. And so Liam and Scout were able to finish the maze. And they got out of the maze, and they high-fived each other. And Scout said to Liam, "Thank you so much for helping me. I would have never got through it without such a good friend." And Liam said, "Thank you for letting me come with you. That was the most fun I've had in a long time." So the 2 of them went back to the Chancellor's office and told Terry the Wizard, "We finished your maze. It was a piece of cake." And the Wizard said, "Really? That's one of the hardest mazes we've ever made." And Scout said, "Ruff, ruff, 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 ruff." And Terry said, "Did you just bark at me again?" And Scout said, "No." And Terry said, "I'm pretty sure you just barked at me." And Scout was like, "Do I look like a dog to you?" And Terry said, "Well, kinda. You have dog ears, and you have a lot of fur on your arms, and you have a little round nose like a dog, and it's black and it's wet." Scout said, "Nope, not a dog." So Terry's like, "All right, well, congratulations. You beat your maze." And so the Wizard said, "Who will go next?" And Dana said, I'll go next. And the wizard said, well, this next test will determine whether or not you have a good heart. Dana said, all right, I'm ready. And Dana said, what is the test? And the wizard, Terry, said to her, you must travel to the bottom of this island and bring the baby wolf Maggie back to her home. If you do this, if you bring her down to her home so she can stay there, you will pass your test. And so Maggie looked at Dana and said, wait, all you have to do is bring me home and you'll be allowed to go to the Wizard Academy? That seems easy enough, but I don't want to go home. But I want you to go to the Wizard Academy, Dana. So for you, I will do this. And Dana said, thank you, Maggie. Thank you for, doing this for me. I've always dreamed of going to the Wizard Academy. And so Dana and Maggie made their way down to the bottom of the mountain. It took them the entire day to climb down. And when they finally got to the bottom, Dana saw Maggie's wolf den. It was a little mountain of sticks that Maggie lived in. And those sticks had a little door on the front. And when you went through the door, they were inside of Maggie's little wolf den. And so they both went inside, and Dana said to Maggie, where are the rest of the wolves? And Dana said, there are no other wolves here, it's just me. And Dana said to Maggie, what about your mommy and daddy? What about your brothers and sisters? Where are they? And Maggie said, I don't have any brothers and sisters. And my mommy and daddy, they left a long time ago. So it's just been me all by myself. And so Dana looked at Maggie and said, so if I leave you here, are you just going to be by yourself? Maggie said, yeah. That's why I didn't want to come back, because I'm so lonely and I miss being around people. I love people. And when I was living in my little wolf den, I didn't have any visitors. It was just me by myself all the time. And so Dana thought about it for a second. And Dana said, well, if you don't stay here, then I won't get to go into the Wizard Academy. But it's not fair that you would be by yourself. So Dana thought about it for a couple minutes, and she decided that as much as she wanted to get into the Wolf Academy, or into the Wizard Academy, as much as she's always dreamt about being a wizard, it wasn't fair. So she told the baby wolf Maggie, come back with me. I don't want to leave you here. I don't want you to be sad. And the little baby wolf Maggie said to Dana, but then you won't get into the school. They won't let you in if I don't stay here. And Dana said, as much as I want to go to that school, I don't want you to be sad. It's more important that you're happy too. So Maggie the wolf said, are you sure? Dana said, yes, absolutely. I don't care if I don't get in. So the two of them hiked back up the mountain and took another day to get all the way to the top. And they went into the chancellor's office. And Dana told the chancellor, Terry the wizard, I couldn't do it. I couldn't leave Maggie there all by herself. She has no siblings. She has no mommy or daddy. And I didn't want her to be there by herself and be sad. And the chancellor said, even though you wouldn't get into the school if you didn't follow my instructions? And Dana said, I understand that I didn't finish my test, that I didn't get into Wizard Academy. But that's okay because Maggie the baby wolf won't be sad. And the wizard looked at Dana and looked at the baby wolf Maggie. And he took a deep breath. And he said, well, you know what? You passed the test. And Dana said, what? And he said, it was a test to see how strong your heart it was. And by choosing to take care of somebody else instead of getting into the Wizard Academy, you have proven that you have a big heart and that you care more about other people than you care about yourself. And that is honorable. And so the wizard told Dana, welcome to the Wizard Academy. And Dana picked up Maggie the baby wolf and hugged her so tight and said, yay, now you get to stay up here with us. And we all get to hang out together and be best friends. And the little baby wolf said, yeah, woohoo. And they were so excited. But the tests weren't over yet. There was still one more person who had to pass a test.
And it was Big Eddie.
No, it was Michael. Michael still had to pass the test.
Did Eddie not go?
No, Eddie was the troll. The people who had to take the test were Michael, Dana, Scout, and Wiley. The four of them, because they were the new students. Big Ed was already allowed in.
Why?
Because he was already a student there.
Oh.
So he was just trying to get back. Same with Maggie and the others. Like, they weren't actual students. The only ones who had to take the test were Dana, Michael, Scout, and Wiley. So Michael was the only one left. So the wizard said, your test is going to be the hardest test of all. Michael looked at him and took a big gulp. What? That sounds scary. And the wizard said,
But can you make I helping you, please?
mm-hmm. So,
I don't help you, okay? Do your test.
And so the wizard said, your test will be whether or not you're a good leader, whether or not you can take care of your team. You have to know how to work together in order to pass this test. So this test, you will all have to take together. And so they went into a room. And inside the room, there were 4 pedestals. And each pedestal had a different element on it. One of them was wind. One of them was fire. One of them was water. And one of them was earth. And they looked at these elements and they said, What is this? And the wizard said to them, you must unlock each one of these pedestals in order to reveal the secret. And so the four of them didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to open these pedestals. All they knew that one was earth, one said earth, one said fire, one said water, and one said wind. And they were really frustrated because they couldn't find any keyholes, they couldn't find any doorknobs or handles. There was nothing that would open them. There was nothing to open them with. And they're like, how do you open this? And so Wiley was looking at the one that said wind on it. And she was really frustrated. And she took a deep breath and she went, and when she breathed on it, it went like this. And it opened up. It moved. And then Michael said, Wiley, how did you do that? How did you get it to open? And Wiley said, I don't know. Dana said, whatever you did before, just do it again. And Wiley said, I was just sitting here looking at it, and I took a deep breath, and I breathed. And then it opened even further. And they said, oh, that's it. It was wind. When you breathed on it, your breath felt like wind. Doesn't that feel like wind? So by breathing on it, you made wind. That's what opened it. And they all got really excited. But then it closed. And Wiley was like, oh, it only stays open for a second. So they're like, what can we do to open the other ones? So on the other one, Scout went over, the one that said water. And Scout, because he was part dog, he started panting. He went, and then drool dripped off his tongue, and it hit the pedestal that said water. And his drool was like water. And so that one opened. And then they said, what about the other two? So Dana went over to the one that said earth, and she picked some soil up out of the ground and dropped it on top of the pedestal that said earth. And then that one opened up. And the final one was the one that said fire. So Michael pulled out a match out of his pocket and he lit it. And he dropped it on top of that pedestal that said fire. And then that one opened up. But they would all close. So Michael said to everybody, we all have to do it at the same time. So Wiley, when I say go, you breathe on that one to create wind. And Scout, you drool on that one to create water. And Dana, you pour sand on that one, or dirt on that one to create earth. And I will put this match on this one to create fire. So Michael said on the count of 3.
Hey, Dada, a 10, it wasn't a pity dog, but locked it in, 5, 1, and okay. Okay?
Okay. And so he counted to 3. 1, 2, 3. And they all did it at the same time. Wiley breathed on it. Dana put the earth on it. Scout drooled on it. And Michael put the match on it. And all four opened at the same time. And when they did that, a light came out from all four of them and met in the middle. And out of that light appeared a magic chest. It was a treasure chest. And they opened the treasure chest up. And it was a picture of a giant troll. And they grabbed the picture of the troll and they brought it back to Terry, the Chancellor Wizard. And he looked at it and he said, "Congratulations. You passed the test. You are all in the Wizard Academy now." And they all celebrated and they had a big party, just like the one they had at home when they got the letter that they would be accepted to the academy. They all celebrated and ate a bunch of food till their bellies were full. And then they went and they each got a room of their own. And they put their clothes away. They brushed their teeth. And they went to bed, really excited that tomorrow they would start at the Wizard Academy, where they would eventually learn how to become powerful wizards. The end.
Can we read another one?
On another night we can.
Please.
Wiley, they're really long. I can't do another one tonight.